What's up, folks? It's Juno. Obnoxious noises, other shit to get you engaged, whatever it is, listen up. I've just been looking at Facebook. I know it's a huge mistake. I should really control myself. But someone posted an image and it had one of them fact checking screens over the front of it saying this is partly false information or this is false fake news or something like that. And I'll be honest, I couldn't fucking believe it when I saw it. It was just a piece of shit meme, alright? It was just some bullshit that happened to have a couple of clips of press releases or some news articles in them, and it just had the headlines, and it did seem like the headlines contradicted each other. Okay, I'm not getting into the politics of it. What I'm going to say is, it was a candidate involved in the presidential shebang that's going on in the U.S. and or a member of the candidacy. I don't know how it works. I do. I'm just not going to get into it. But like, that person had talked about themselves in one way, or was talked about in a certain way, that was very clearly mentioning of their identity. And then a few years later, a similar headline was pulled that actually talked about them having a completely different identity. And the post was like, like, ta-da! I did it! I changed from one to the other. And it was kind of comical. It was just poking fun. It was just having a laugh, all right? It wasn't. I don't think it was making a profound satire of the whole thing. I really think it was just a bit like, this is the way news is. But the fact checkers, they've been on it. They've had a look. They've disagreed. But the bullshit of it was, they didn't really disagree. All right? I read the whole fact check article to see what it was that was wrong. Was that a photoshopped headline? Or did it actually say something else? Did they switch the pictures with somebody else? It was actually about a different person? No, the headlines were real. Between that time, years ago, and the recent headline, those were two legit headlines. They were by, two relatively, esteemed publications, and it was both in regards to the same person. So it was kind of weird, actually, that they were fact checking against it and saying, this is partly false information. What the hell was false about it? And it appeared what the falseness was they didn't like the impression that it gave. So the falseness wasn't to do with the facts at all. All right, the facts as they were in the meme or whatever it was were fine. The falseness was in how they thought it came across. And that's why they'd put up a fact screen over it and been like, this has been checked and partly false. See here or look at the post. So it's like it's a kind of censoring, but it's like a transparent censor where you can kind of see what it is you're missing out on. And I'll be honest, I didn't know they were going to pull this. Like, that's a hell of a shenanigan to pull, to give something the stigma and the toxicity of the sort of like legitimized fake news seal of approval of being fake, while at the same time agreeing with it, but just saying it's only fake in the way it comes across or the way it could be interpreted. I think that's big fucking bollocks right there, to want to step in and tell someone how they should interpret something. You're just being supplied with premises, and then it's making a remark, like the memey bit of it is just making like a 1 or 2 word remark about that's kind of magical in a way. It was one headline identified as something, and then another headline identified as something else. Kind of magical how that worked. But yeah, they weren't happy with the conclusion that it drew, or implied, and they felt that we can't let this sort of implication go by. We need to tell people how to see things. All right, it's not good enough that they have the facts. We need to tell them how to interpret the facts. That feels a bit of fucking indoctrination to me personally. And that's why perhaps I'm getting a bit more irate than I might normally do with a video. I'm just not happy with the way the influence is trying to extort over me by using the very simple mechanism of tainting it, of tainting something with the fact check screen. Because that in it, no one's going to fucking read what I read. Like, 1% of people are going to bother reading the boilerplate bullshit that the fact checkers actually write on the page that it links to explain their decision. Like, the judgment's there, and the judgment is actual bullshit, but no one's going to ever bother reading that, except if it's something like some idiot like me, some fucking moron like me, will actually go, let's actually see what was wrong about this. And then realize, no, they actually entirely agree with the facts. They're just saying it might be interpreted wrong, and they want to clear that up. Oh, man. it's dirty. That's a pretty dirty tactic to me, to just throw that fact screen over the top of what it was, kind of censor the person, all because they didn't like how it might look, not even disputing the actual like pure information that's in there. Uh, and it's like I said, dirty tactic, because they know that what they're doing. They know that the taint is enough just to make it toxic enough by throwing the screen on there and putting the little bar at the bottom saying, fact checked, maybe not, this was never like this, or something, or this has previously been contested in a previous post, this has previously been reviewed. Very, very shady from my perspective, at least. I didn't like it. Very much trying to influence me to think a certain way. We're not. I would prefer. Maybe it's just my preference. I'd prefer to be left to kind of come to my own conclusions on some stuff. And they know what they're doing. They know that just to make it toxic like that is enough to deter most people from absorbing it as genuine news or genuine comment or something, and just to discard it. And that's all they wanted to do. They wanted you to just ignore it, basically, no matter how true it was, because they knew that the fact check on there would be enough to help you ignore it, even if they knew it was pretty much true. They could just dispute a small part of it. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say for now. Thanks very much for listening to me whinge about this. I know it's bullshit, but look after yourselves, guys. See you around.